Welcome back to another episode of Change Wired podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host. I'm your partner in change transformation, in learning how to grow your best every single day. And on today's podcast, guys, I'm very excited to talk to you about recovery, specifically about sleep. And you're going to learn about 3 things that hold back great quality sleep or hold back people on getting great quality sleep. So you can use that great quality sleep to fuel your best days. The truth and the fact, according to research and all the data that we have, is that great sleep is a foundation of great performance. If you take Olympic athletes, for example, there is no freaking way they will set records on a bad night of sleep. Not only that, even one night of bad sleep deprivation, less than 5 hours, will qualify you in your cognitive performance as being legally drunk, which means you are not allowed to drive because you are a hazard to people around you on the road. Sleep is crucial for great performance. And I think a very tricky thing is that it's hard to judge how you perform on bad sleep subjectively. You don't actually you might actually feel tired, or that it's taking you longer to focus, or maybe your brain is all over the place, or maybe your emotional state is not where it could be. But sometimes you get into the bad sleep habits so frequently that it becomes kind of your default, and you don't even know that you could perform at a higher level, that you could learn better. So many times I heard and I hear from people things like, I'm not great at learning or reading, or I don't memorize a lot of stuff. And when you dig under the hood, you see they don't really sleep well, and they don't have good routine around getting good quality sleep. And no wonder you can't remember a lot, because your memory consolidation, or basically a learning process, just like you building muscle, happens while you're sleeping. If you consistently deprive yourself of good sleep, meaning less than 7.5 or 9 hours, which is recommended for optimal health and performance, if you consistently deprive yourself of that sleep, that means that you consistently are not great at learning or building muscle or maintaining your health or maintaining your emotional regulation. And a lot of people also experience a lot more stress, or, for example, anxiety or inability to regulate their emotions, also because of a lack of proper sleep. But then people say, well, actually, we're going to get into 3 things that hold high performers, or people who are committed to being high performers, people who want to do a lot of stuff, who want to do the hard, the challenging part, who want to do their best. These are 3 things that hold those people back. And I want to tell you that in my practice, I've been in coaching for 18 years. And for the past 5 years specifically, probably for the past 3 years specifically, I'm super focused. After I got certified as a sleep, stress management, and recovery coach, I get extremely focused with my clients on the recovery as the foundation of their success. So what I notice after that is, with proper work and my clients agreeing that it is important to work on that, we get their sleep to 85 percentile plus, where before they thought that they were bad sleepers, that they are not really that great with their ability to have great sleep, or very often that they don't need that much sleep. But what data shows, and if you were to test yourself, I guarantee you that your performance, cognitive, physical, in most cases, will almost certainly improve when you start having recommended amount of sleep. And from my experience, it's for the most part is in your control what kind of quality of sleep you get. And I'm going to give you 3 essential things that are needed to create consistent, great quality sleep. And then also some which are on a degree less important, but they're still vital and important. And again, why do you want to care about your sleep? Is because if you are interested in really, really doing your best decisions, your emotional regulations, which undermine a lot of your good decisions, your long-term thinking, your creativity, your fitness, your longevity, your energy levels, all of that, if any of that is important to you, or showing up for people you lead, your team, your family, your kids, if you want to set the example in the world of being your best and doing great things, not just once off or burning yourself out. If you believe that people deserve to perform well, to do great things and thrive, then you got to be a model of that first and foremost. But anyhow, sleep is the byproduct of three things that I noticed high performers don't do that well. Number one, that prevents a lot of high performers from getting good quality sleep is stories they tell themselves. Things like, well, caffeine doesn't affect me that much. I can drink those espressos or cappuccinos right before bed and I go to bed just fine. A lie. I'm yet to see a person for whom, when they measure quality of sleep with that caffeine and without, for whom that wouldn't be the case. That is a total lie. Caffeine affects everyone. Just because you knock yourself out from pure exhaustion into bed doesn't mean you're going to get great quality of sleep, and it's all the sleep that you need. So that's number one. The second story that high performers tell themselves that often prevents them from getting great quality sleep that they can have is, successful people don't sleep that much. Successful people need only, 5 hours or 6 hours maximum, right? And I'm just totally fine. What science shows is people who are honestly and objectively are totally fine on less than 6 hours of sleep, 6 or less. It's 1% of 1% of population. And the chances that you are that person, well, there is a slight chance. But if I were to tell you how many people tell me exactly that thing that I worked with personally, that would be probably sheer luck that all of those people are just happen to be in those 1% of the 1%. It's kind of like that research on the fact that every driver you ask thinks that they are above average. But if everyone is above average, like what's the average and who is below that? If everyone you ask thinks that they're above average, humans are very not great at judging our performance until we get to objective benchmarking, which for you need to do a DNA test in order to really qualify if you are okay on 6 hours or less of sleep every day without downstream negative consequences on your cognitive performance and longevity and avoiding diseases down the road. So stories we tell ourselves, right, that you're just fine. That's another story that I hear from almost every high performer. Or that successful people don't sleep that much. And successful people actually do sleep enough. I was listening to a lot of what Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, talks about. He is the CEO, the founder of VaynerX, and just has a lot of companies he's involved in, and just does genius work without seemingly being a genius. He wasn't a great, studier. He doesn't have some Einstein-like ideas, but he just works hard and he thinks smart. And he talks a lot about how he tries to prioritize his sleep and exercise, even though it's not his natural thing. Now he also started meditating, maybe meditated for many years before. But more and more leaders start talking about how actually, if I were to rewire back things and knew what I know now, I would prioritize my sleep better, just because we know from, again, research that cognitive performance, physical performance affects leaders just like anyone else. And number two, if you truly want to deliver maximum impact on people and in your work, it's not just the hours you work matter, it's also the quality of those hours. And again, what research shows, when you are are running on late nights and undersleeping, you are definitely not your best. And doing more stuff doesn't mean doing better stuff or the stuff that matters. So stories, again, what very often prevent leaders from getting the best quality of sleep. And that's where I start my work with people. I ask what do you believe about sleep? What do you think about sleep? And I just leave it there open-ended. And people start telling you all these beliefs that or the truths that they believe to be true. Like, again, caffeine doesn't affect me. I don't need that much sleep, or I'm a bad sleeper. I can't sleep. I've never been able to sleep. But then you ask them, when did you ever try to have a good routine? And that goes now to the next point is a lot of sleep that you think is bad is due to the daily routines that you don't do right. And by right, I mean in the way that is aligned with how our biology works, our circadian biology, circadian rhythm, or 24-hour sleep-wake cycle works. Certain things need to happen in order for you to have a chance to have great quality sleep. Like, for example, right, once you decide to, I actually think that getting great quality sleep will really positively affect my life. When you're really committed to that, then we can get to the step number 2 is your routine. And some of the fundamental things, 3 fundamental things that you need to start getting right before hoping for great quality sleep consistently. Number 1, consistency of your sleep and wake time. When you go to bed, when you wake up, the more consistent you are with it. And I did personally many tests with my clients. The more consistent you get with the timing, almost to the point that everything else matters less, the better your sleep gets. So consistency first, and it also matters for your health outcome. Consistency is the most important thing because your brain, your body needs to be prepared biochemically for the process of sleep to happen. So your sleep cycles are synchronized, so your brain cleanses itself, so all of your hormones are released on time, like melatonin or like growth hormones. Recovery happens properly. You need to time it and keep it consistent in order for your brain and your body to know when that event, sleep, happens. So first, it's consistency, which is really undervalued thing in today's world. People's sleep is all over the place. The second thing is light. Getting your sunlight in the morning in the first hour of waking, or substitutions like 10,000 lux lamp. But sunlight, it's not a lamp, so it always works better for wiring great sleep-wake cycle, which affects the quality of your sleep. So bright light in the morning, and then at night, making sure that you don't expose yourself to things like blue light from your screens. Get the protection like apps, f.lux. Check it out. I'm going to link it in the show notes. Don't be in the environment of bright lights at least a couple of hours before your bedtime. At the very least 1 hour. It's going to be dark. You got to let your brain know that soon you're going to be getting ready for bed. And what research shows, when you expose yourself to bright light, your melatonin amount is diminished. And even if you take a supplement, it's not the same at all as naturally produced melatonin. So melatonin drops, and your sleep cycle gets out of whack, gets compromised, and just doesn't work as well. So bright light, no bright light at night, bright light in the morning, sunlight. And then the third thing is substances, like food. 2-3 hours before bed, your food has to be finished. Alcohol, no alcohol at night. I think the timing for alcohol to go through your system for you to still sleep well is about 5-6 hours. Probably depends on the person, depends on the amount of alcohol. But if you take it with dinner, your sleep isn't going to be the same. And my clients measured it, and on the nights when they do have that glass of wine with dinner, their sleep still gets worse. And when they remove it, it gets better. Alcohol, caffeine, the recommended cutoff time is 8 to 10 hours. For me personally I think it's about 10 hours. I stop by 10 a.m. and I go to bed around 8, 9 p.m. So caffeine really matters. And again, you can sort of fall asleep, especially if you're exhausted and tired and functioning on 6 hours of sleep all the time. But it doesn't mean that the quality of your sleep is not going to be affected. Again, it's one of those things that you can't judge subjectively. You need to experiment to see what it really does to your body and your sleep. So those three things, your sleep-wake time, regularity there, your light hygiene or light behaviors, bright in the morning, no bright light or especially artificial bright light at night, and you have your substances. So those are the things in your day that you need to take care of to hope to get consistent quality of sleep. First, you gotta have helpful stories around why you want to get great quality sleep. Because again, if you have beliefs that you don't need sleep, you don't want sleep, guess what? You're going to be awake. Like, your psychology is a powerful thing. Number 2, your daily routine. And number 3, the environment. And by environment, I mean things like, what do you hear about sleep in your family, at your workplace? Do leaders at your workplace say things like, oh, I did an all-nighter, I just really needed to prepare for that, or who has time to sleep? When you hear that, and that is your social environment, guess what? Your brain gets a notice. We are socially driven creatures. And so if everyone in your environment does not value sleep and has really poor sleeping habits, guess what? That's probably going to be your reality. It's part of your social context, which powerfully affects what you do. The second thing, not having good sleeping place, not separating your workplace and your sleep place, getting a laptop into your bedroom, in your phone, checking your phone, getting yourself stimulated in your bed where you're supposed to be sleeping. Your brain reads the context. What it means is, if in your bed you are always stimulated by notifications, by email, you take your computer, you take your food sometimes with you, you take your everything, your brain gets confused. And so when you get to the same place and trying to sleep, your brain doesn't want to sleep, because usually what you do there is a lot of stimulating activities. So your brain is context dependent. So make sure that your sleep context is only for sleep. Just like for great digestion, you want to make sure that you eat in a place where you only eat, not where you work. Otherwise, you can cause yourself indigestion because your brain doesn't know what to prepare, digest food or work, which requires directing your blood flow to different places. Your blood flow can really go 2 ways, either to digestion and rest, or to work and run and being in that activated fight or flight response. So those are 2 different states, and your brain works in different modes for those states. So context and your environment, social environment, your bedroom environment, what you do right before bed, if you stimulate yourself with notifications, with emails, if you work right before going to bed, like, no wonder your brain has a hard time slowing down. It's not how it's supposed to happen, on and off. That's not how your brain works. Your biology is a bit of a slower thing. It needs like an hour to get ready into sleep vibes and transition to sleep environment, which is dark and cool and calm, with no notifications and stuff just clicking and ramping up your brain. That is not how sleep works. So if your sleep doesn't work for you, it means that you don't actually work for your sleep. And no wonder your sleep suffers. And again, I worked in this for years, specifically in the last 3 years. In every single case, when the client is truly on board with working on their sleep, and we work on the sleep habits, and they take care of proper sleep hygiene and behaviors and environment, we consistently get into 85% plus percentile of sleep quality every night. And once they start compromising those habits, which sometimes happens, they're like, I'm okay now. But then they change their habits and sleep starts getting out of balance again, because sleep, just like most things in life, are a byproduct of what you do. And so when you change the actions, what you get gets different. Just like with brushing your teeth. If you want to have clean teeth for life, you kind of have to do it daily. Otherwise, you would do it like once a month. right? But there is a reason why we do it every day. The same thing with shower. You want to be clean every day? Well, you got to take your shower every day. Yes, till the rest of your life. And sleep is one of those things you will have to do till the rest of your life. And it depends on good routines in your life. And yes, I lived in 15 different countries. And once I started valuing my sleep, and I decided it's going to be my priority because it affects so positively my performance and, more importantly, my emotional well-being and happiness and health on so many levels. Once I noticed that and decided to prioritize, it kind of became easy. Like, I do these things and I don't go out late at night, and that's fine. I'll go out in the morning with people that also prefer to have more a biology-friendly lifestyle. We are not night owls. Maybe it's time we'll make peace with that and organize our world accordingly, because it matters and it makes us feel good, look good, and do our best. So that's it for today, guys. Before we jump into conclusion and summary, please don't forget to share this podcast episode with at least one other person who you'd like to maybe sleep better with you. Have social accountability, work on it together. It's the best way to work on things together. Share, review, rate. This podcast can only survive if you do take this extra step. Review, put a 5-star, a thumb up, whatever you can on that app that you're using for listening to your podcast, right? Really appreciate it. And then to sum up this episode, 3 things you want to focus on if you want to get great night of sleep consistently, for all the good things it brings with it. Number 1, stories in your head. Check with that. What are your beliefs around sleep that will stand in the way of getting great sleep more than anything? Number 2, what you do during your day, and we're going to unpack it in a second. Number 3, your contacts, your environment, your social environment, your bedroom environment. So let's unpack the second one, your daily routine. You want to get consistent time of sleeping. Number 2, you want to get bright sunlight in the first hour of waking in your eyes for 5 to 10 minutes, or for the times when it's dark outside during winter, you want to get some sort of solution, those circadian or LED lamps. And light at night, no bright light at least an hour before bed, and make sure that your screens are protected and don't emit blue, green, bright light. There are many different ways of doing so. And then substances, your caffeine cutoff time, 8 to 10 hours before sleep. If you don't drink caffeine, don't start. Your food time, 2-3 hours before bed. And your alcohol, with lunch or none. The science is clear right now. No amount of alcohol is good for you, especially before sleep. That's it for today, guys. So sleep on it. Design your day so your good sleep has a chance to survive. Until next time, keep changing, keep growing, keep reaching for your best.